We're here with Rob at the Hachette Games stand at UK Games Expo 2024.
Here we go. It's happening.
Finally
It's happening.
started, Rob.
Yeah.
It's finally here.
Yeah.
Right, the chaos has only just begun.
Yep.
You guys have got Saturdays come.
This is it. It's
So we're taking the
9:30
shots.
in the morning.
9:30 in the morning.
And it's happening already. Yeah.
Thanks so much for seeing us so early.
Pleasure.
Fabulous. What have we got? We've got so much at the Hachette
Got
Games stand.
so much going on here. So we're actually launching around 20 games this weekend.
Amazing.
We have our store packed to the brim. What's lovely, this is our third year in business, our third year of doing Expo. And this is the year that we're really coming out swinging. We've got a kind of a list now of games that have become evergreens. You guys will be familiar with the likes of Iki, Akropolis.
One of my favourite games, by the way, is Iki.
There you go.
Freaking
that warms
love that
my
game.
heart. That warms my heart.
Dude.
Play the expansion.
No.
Okay, this is something we need to talk about at some point.
Okay,
But,
yes, we do.
Yeah, we definitely need to talk about this. We've got some lovely, some of our lovely evergreen titles here. We're launching some great new games as well. You can see the likes of Looot here. We've got some exclusives happening with Waterstones this weekend as well, like Kronologic.
Yeah.
We've got Courtisans. We're going to show you some of these games. Our goal really is to work with some of the likes of Waterstones in particular, because we want to get more games on more tables. People who aren't necessarily kind of gamers themselves.
Yeah.
We want to make sure we're getting
Get it in front of some eyes, and Waterstones is a big brand as well. So
that's where it's at.
awesome, dude.
So we can start showing you some of the new stuff.
Let's take a look around. Let's give us the tour. Where should we start? Where's a good place? Let's have a little wander over.
Let's take a look at Courtisans.
Let's take a look at Courtisans.
This is Courtisans. This is a really deft little aggressive card game.
Okay.
The idea of this game is, if you could look at the table there, you can see there's a banquet table.
Yeah.
Which represents a banquet with a queen. And what's going on in this game is players are building their own tableaus of cards in front of them while also placing cards at this banquet table.
Okay.
And the idea being that on a turn, all you're going to do is pick up 3 cards.
Yeah.
Which you then have to place one of them in front of yourself, one of them in front of another player, and one of them at the banquet table.
Okay.
You can place it above or below the banquet table, though. And what's going to happen at the end of the game is the families that have, in the game, the families that have more cards above the table than below are deemed in favour with the queen.
Right, okay.
What then happens is those cards, if they're in your tableau, score positively.
Ah,
the ones that are the ones that are below the table are in disgrace, and those cards are going to score negatively. But because of that idea of picking up 3 cards, you put one in front of yourself, one in front of someone else, one at the banquet table. It's a really kind of fast-moving, aggressive little game. You have a few secret objectives as well.
Okay.
So there's a secret objective.
You got this family in disgrace or this family in favour or something like that?
Yeah. So sometimes you might have something that's like, you just need more of the red family in your tableau than the person next to you.
Amazing.
Which means that you end up just dunking loads and loads of the red family. And the red family could be scoring positively, but you're just like, people will be like, "Why are you doing that?" There's a bit of a bluffing element to the whole thing, and people are trying to get inside your head as to why you're doing certain things.
Amazing.
One of the little twists, there are these spy cards as well, which get placed face down. You can actually see one.
Sneaky
there.
spy card, yeah.
They get placed face down. You don't know what it is until the end of the game. So someone could be chucking spy cards in front of you. They could be chucking spy cards in front of the banquet table. There's a few other twists as well. Assassin cards that can kill off other cards. Things like that.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Nice production, yeah.
Cloth board. We've got these gilded cards here as well.
It looks fabulous.
It's a lovely, lovely game. It takes about 15 minutes to get through. And it's one of those ones that's just very much like one more game feeling.
Nice.
Feels very stabby, but short enough that you don't feel too hurt.
Yeah, well, if you like a bit of aggro, that sounds great. And it's up to 5 players?
Yeah, up to 5 players. 2 to 5 plays. At 2, it's a very sort of aggressive chess match type thing. At 5, it's almost a little bit more party game-esque. It's a little bit more chaotic, banterous.
Everything happening.
After,
amazing.
Middle Ages, Middle Ages is the latest game. You guys know a name, Marc Andre?
I do, yes.
You know that name. Do you know where from?
No, but it does sound familiar.
The name is, so Marc Andre is the designer of Splendor.
Oh, of course.
So there you go.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, amazing.
And this is, depending on whether, this is a slight re-implementation of a game he's designed, but depending on whether you count that, this is like either his 4th or 5th game. So he's designed very few. You could probably retire on that Splendor money, let's be fair.
Probably quite happily, yeah.
He's still making games, and they're still great. And Middle Ages is the latest one. So this has a tableau building aspect. You're building these fiefs here. You can see that people have got in front of them. And you are claiming cards from the centre in a sort of King Domino fashion. So you're putting down one of your meeples there to claim the tile, which you then build into your...
Add it into your fiefdom, is it?
Into your fiefdom. Yeah. And this is very much... this is where that Marc Andre engine building comes in. Because basically, as you are building your fief out, things are pinging off one another, combos are happening.
Nice, like a bit of
money.
combos.
This is a game where there's 16 turns in the whole game.
Oh, nice.
And yet the first couple of turns, the first maybe 2-3 turns, you're like, oh, I got 2 points. I got 2 points. I got 3 points. By the end, you're like, 28 points. Bam, 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 bam,
yeah,
bam. Exactly. It's very rewarding for that.
I love those games with like a nice slow build, and then the arc at the end goes bam, and
really
pinging everything off everything else. That sounds amazing. Excellent stuff.
Awesome.
So this is out now as well?
This is out. This will be with Waterstones. Yeah, so this is another one. This is a Waterstones exclusive for the weekend, and then it will be out in
wider retail after that.
All your FLGSs, everyone. So yeah,
fantastic. Another like 30 minutes-ish game. Love these kind of games.
Yeah.
Right in the wonderful stuff.
Kronologic, do you guys know Turing Machine? Have you played Turing Machine?
Yes, I do know Turing Machine. A pure logic game.
Pure logic game. So, Turing Machines, 2 designers have come together once again to make Kronologic.
The same designers.
Same 2 designers,
cool.
And what they have done is they've taken Turing Machine, some of the elements of Turing Machine, it's that pure deduction puzzle, and built a narrative around it this time.
Fantastic.
So this has a murder mystery kind of. This is set in Paris in the 1920s in the Paris Opera House.
Yeah.
It's a murder mystery game, basically, almost a little bit of that consulting detective, Sherlock Holmes consulting detective vibe.
Great.
But with the Turing Machine sort of deduction elements going on. So you're traveling around the Opera House. You're working out the timeline of when events might have occurred.
That's cool.
You're interviewing. This plays 1 to 4 players.
Yeah.
There are 3 scenarios in the box that can be played at 5 different difficulty levels. So you can actually play this sort of 15 times.
Nice.
And this will be the first in a series of 3 Kronologic games as well. So
excellent stuff.
That's
I love the idea of a deduction logic game in like a murder mystery thing. I think that's a perfect marriage. That sounds amazing. Yeah.
This is it, and
super cool.
Sort of adding a narrative to Turing Machine, I think, is a really cool. And we found out just this within the last week. They're making new scenarios for this game as well, so
amazing.
Even this single box is going to have more and more scenarios being added to it. So,
fantastic, super exciting. Straight on the list, just straight on the list. Let's see, what else have we got?
So we have we've got After Us down there at the end, which
fantastic
you guys
game.
I'm sure will have tried at some point. We have the new edition of Expeditions Around the World. So this is like a stone cold classic in board game history. It hasn't had quite that same. We're hoping this brings it back to the fore. So this is Wolfgang Kramer.
Yeah, Mr. Kramer.
The one and only. This is it.
Yeah.
So
the guy that keeps banging out hit after hit.
Yeah, hit after hit. And this is one of his games from the 80s. Sort of. It's been re-implemented about 3 or 4 times.
Okay, they did with Big Boss.
Yes.
Where they re-implemented that, and it's now one of my favourite games.
There
the
you
new
go.
version of Big Boss is freaking great.
Yes, this is it.
So cool.
This is a little. The comparison point would be something like Ticket to Ride. It's a family weight sort of adventure around the world. You're getting certain cards of stopping points you need to visit, and on turns you're effectively building out these routes that you need to stop at certain points. So, this was Ticket to Ride before Ticket to Ride existed in a sense.
Fantastic.
A 1980s
the genesis of route building.
Yeah, that's it. And so this has been brought up to speed for 2024.
Has been had a rules update as well with
a few tweaks here and there just to make it a bit more modernized, as you get with these things. But this is the new edition.
Fantastic. Lovely board as well, by the way.
So I'll show you guys Looot, which is another one I am very, very excited about. So
why are you so excited about this one, Rob? Tell us.
Well, here we go. So you guys have played Akropolis.
Yes.
So this is Gigamic, who designed who were the publishers of Akropolis, now launching a line of these kinds of games of light to mid-weight, family-friendly games. But they're still the kind of games, as you guys know, if you play Akropolis, it's got some crunch to it. It's got some brain-burning puzzle aspects to it. So Looot is the latest one in the line, and Looot is a tile placement game that we'll be familiar with from the likes of Akropolis.
Yeah.
So you're building out your own fjord. You can see here.
Yeah.
The twist to this really is that you can see in the center there's this area control board. This is a joint shared board where you're actually putting out these meeples, these Viking meeples. So you're having to actually go out into this new land, pillage the resources that you can get hold of.
Yes.
Some of them are going to be trickier, like there's some forts that you can see in the center there, so they have various different rules, like some of them you have to surround, or some of them you have to build a route between 2.
Cool.
But because on a turn, anyone can place a meeple out, they can block your spaces and things like that. But the places that you put your meeples means that's the resources you get, which you can then take back to your fjord there and put in to the board, and that's where you're going to score the bulk of your points.
This looks super cool. I love this idea with a central sort of area majority type board, as well as your own sort of tile laying as well. I love that combination. That sounds super fun.
I think even like, you know, some of the tile laying games that we used to, like Akropolis and even the likes of Cascadia and things like that, it's
great game,
drafting system to actually to choose the tiles you want. Whereas this adds this whole kind of this wrinkle of strategy to the whole tiles that you're going to choose. We do actually have over there today Charles Chevalier, who's the designer of Looot.
Fantastic.
You know Abyss? Or
I know Abyss, the card-based, that's right,
Kanagawa as well. He's done a few games like that, so he's there doing some signings.
Doing some
so
stuff.
we can introduce you guys at some point. But
fabulous.
That is
so this looks tremendous as well.
Yep.
Another 35 minutes, 2 to 4 players or so.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, right in the wheelhouse of things that I spend money on.
Yeah.
Right, okay, good.
That's always good to know.
Yeah. What have we got on this side?
So on this side,
down to the dark side. Okay,
down
cool.
to the dark side. So we have From the Moon here.
Yes.
So From the Moon is it's the first sort of really heavy game from the designer, from Joanes Goupy, who's the designer of Orichalcum and Faraway as well.
Faraway.
Yeah, so he's got a good design history behind him, but he's
track record.
He knows what he's doing. Yeah. But this is one of his first kind of heavyweight games. So From the Moon is at its core, it's a worker placement game.
Okay.
The big twist to this is you can see these buggies that are these moon buggies that are being put out in the
really
places.
cool, by the way.
They are very cool addition. I mean, this is a good looking production set. You've got these moon buggies that you actually load up with workers.
Nice.
So the workers you put in to the moon buggies sort of dictate the what you can claim from the spots that you land.
Okay.
They all have different powers. Some are good at extracting minerals, others are sort of good at kind of powering up things. They have all these different powers, so you need to, it's almost like a twist on rather than going to the right place, you have to load up your buggy with the right people.
So you load up your buggy, and that will tell you what you're going to get from the space that you go onto.
Pretty much,
That's a cool
and you can
idea.
see there's a ton of other stuff going on. This is a very heavy game, but that's the real kind of
the USP
innovative,
a little bit.
The USP, that's the twist to it.
It's
so
the little crux of it.
That's how that works. Yeah,
that sounds amazing.
That's that.
Cool.
This is the new edition of Cyclades. Yes, so this is being described as a director's cut.
Cool.
Cyclades itself is about 15 years old now. Bruno Catala and Ludovic Maublanc have come together to rework this classic design.
It's a classic, yeah.
They've taken some of the expansion content. There are two expansions to Cyclades.
Yeah.
They've taken both those expansions and sort of folded in the very best bits of it. The very best bits of the expansions. So we've got the hero system here. We've got mercenaries, which represent some of the undead that you find in one of the expansions.
Okay.
It folds in some of those very best bits, and this is really does feel like the 2024 edition of a game you'll know and love.
Fabulous. Love that. Like a 1.5 kind of thing. Yeah.
Some of it as well you won't have seen in any expansions. So the modular board, which means you are getting you're getting a unique experience each time. That's it, and it's lovely. We've had games where we've set it up and we've happened to have one ginormous island sort of spread along the middle, and then other times where you've just all got these piecemeal little kind of nuggets that you're desperately clinging to. It's a really fantastic re-implementation of a game. It goes 2 to 6. 2-player is a nice one because you control 2 factions. It actually works very well.
Okay.
6, you play a team play game.
3 versus 3, is it? Cool.
I believe it's 2v2.
Oh, 2v2.
Yeah, so that's
cool.
And it's very much a race to 3 metropolises. For the demo purposes, we're doing two metropolises for this weekend, but
Metropolises.
Yeah, Metropoli?
Metropoli, that was exactly what I was thinking.
But yes, it's the same win condition, but it's very much a race to that. So for anyone who doesn't know Cyclades, the kind of the core system at the heart of it is an area control game or a troops on a map game, but there's a bidding system. So you need to gain the favour of the gods, which are on that board at the far end there. To do that, you need to spend resources. So you gain the favour of the gods. That gives you the actions you can then do on your turn. So some of the gods are going to help you put out troops and move troops around. Others are going to help you recruit these super powerful heroes. Some will get you naval ships, all sorts of stuff. Some are actually quite laid back. They get you these philosopher cards, which you can see here.
And you just sort of meditate for a while.
You just meditate for a little while, but those philosophers... Oh man, if you get 4 of those, you get an instant metropolis.
As they say, the pen is mightier than the sword.
That is
something they say. That is something they say.
Yeah, and now I agree.
Yeah,
so that is the new edition of Cyclades, We can have a look at... So we've got Evil Corp here.
It's another one.
Oh, nice. Okay, so this is...
We saw it spill, spill.
Nice. So for some reason, this box is saying Evil and Associate. I think this must be the pre-production copy. But this is now actually available. It's under the name Evil Corp. Evil Corp is is kind of a bag building game. So for Quacks and Quedlinburg's fans,
like Quacks,
you'll know a little bit of that system of building up a bag of good stuff. But in this game, what you actually are doing, the narrative is you're running a company, and that company basically somehow makes its profit from scaring human villages.
Okay.
So your job is to basically
okay.
send out monsters to scare these human villages, and you have 2 villages in the center here.
Yeah.
And what is going on is you're going to recruit monsters from this central board. You can see this being picked up here.
They're your monsters, yeah. As
They're
tiles.
going to go into your bag. These tiles are going to go into your bag, which you'll draw and keep behind your screen at certain points of the game, and then you can lay those out into the kind of village boards here.
To do some scaring.
To do some scaring, yeah. And this is actually what's really going on at the heart of this. I would say it's very much a tug of war game, because
okay, cool.
you have sort of choices. If you're familiar with the likes of Seven Wonders Duel and things like that, there's actually
Seven Wonders Duel. Yeah.
There you go. There's a real Seven Wonders Duel feeling to this game. It doesn't necessarily look alike, but actually what's going on is you can see these people,
these sort of tracks.
The little meeple here is going to get dragged left and right depending on which side is. But because you've got 2 boards going on, you could focus heavily on one and try and just score well on that one, and leave the other one and just hope for the best. Or you could try and balance things out, go for a little bit of both. Yeah, it's a very, very tight duel game. As you expand with more players, you add extra village boards, and you actually can play in teams. So at 4 player, you play 2v2, but what I love is you're playing it over 3 boards, so you still have those choices of like, which board do we go heavy on? Which one do we make a run on? Like, can we make this happen?
Who do we scare to death?
Exactly. Yeah.
Amazing.
So, Vampire Village, I can give you a quick rundown of what goes on here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Vampire Village, the best way I can describe this game, you know the whole concept of hate drafting?
I know that very well, Rob. Very, very well.
Because you do it, or because you've had it happen to you?
It's mostly people hate drafting me out into oblivion, mate.
This is it. That's everyone's experienced a bit of hate drafting. This is like the way I would sum up this game is like someone took hate drafting and turned it into a game.
I love it.
Yeah.
Where's Tom would love that. Tom, this one's for you.
It's another a bit like Courtisans. It's 15-20 minutes, very stabby, but it's short enough that no one's going to feel too like. But
dude,
you have to lean into hilarity with it. So you're actually building out your own village, which are these square tiles here.
Okay.
And as you build out the village, you sort of have 2 rounds basically, and in each round there are 2 phases. The first phase of the round is building out the village, and you can build out defenses. You can build out you score actually from these little villager tokens here. So you want to have villagers on your board. The problem is the second phase is where you draft monsters. Okay, and the monsters are like werewolves, demons, vampires, as the name would suggest.
Yeah, as you might imagine.
Which then attack at different sides of the village. So it's a bit like Galaxy Trucker. In that you've got things attacking on your different sides of the village, which are going to just destroy elements of the village. But because you're drafting both of these, you're actually, you're building up your defenses first. Then you're looking over everyone else and being like, he hasn't thought about werewolves at all. Here's 3 werewolves. Let's make sure it takes loads of those.
I love that.
So they're going to sweep in, destroy elements of the village that they get to, and you do 2 rounds of that and just hope that by the end, there's at least a couple of villagers who survive this onslaught. I mean, Vampire Village is not a nice place to live. No, I will say that. But
low property prices for a reason.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's why people moved there.
Absolutely,
they didn't expect to get eaten
alive. Yeah, quite. Hate drafting the game.
Hate drafting the game.
Fantastic.
That is it. We've got the new Akropolis
amazing.
expansion. This has been like, so this is super pre-production. We had someone drive to France to get literally a handmade copy of this. But
wow, no way.
What we have is Athena, which is launching in October this year at Essen.
Yep.
What it adds to the game are these 4 objective cards you can see at the top. You take that from a pool of 16, so there's plenty of variability in the box.
Nice.
You take 4 of these different objective cards. They kind of add objectives like particular shapes you're trying to build, or particular heights of certain terrain types you're trying to build. As soon as you complete one, you get one of the single tiles that you can see underneath those.
I see,
It's first come, first serve. So you want to grab one of those as quick as you can.
Yeah.
You also get a piece of the statue of Athena, and you can see
cool.
You can see a full-blown, a built Athena statue there. So if you build all 4 pieces of Athena, you get the full statue.
Yeah.
What that does for you, if you remember at the end of a game of Akropolis, there are some like pity points for having leftover stone. You get like a victory point for each. You know, you tried your best. Here's a victory point or two for leftover stone. What Athena does, if you manage to build her, you get 5 victory points per stone. So suddenly there's a whole strategy of like, am I going to become a stone hoarder? You know, am I just going to build
some stones and then
That's
build
it.
my temple to Athena.
That's it. So that's the twist. It adds. This is going to retail for just £12, which is like instant buy. Chuck it in the box.
Yeah.
It fits in the base box.
£12, mate. That's you got it.
Yeah, that's like no-brainer money. No-brainer money.
Yeah, nice and easy. It adds extra to the game as well.
Yeah, adds a ton. So
cool.
That will be October.
Cool, and then we have
Doggerland here. Yes, Doggerland is on show. You guys will have seen this at Aircom.
I've seen
briefly
a preview of. Yeah, that's right. So
sorry, you're not
not at Aircom. So not maybe next year.
Maybe next year. Yeah. It's so this Doggerland is it's a worker placement game as well. Set in 15,000 BCE. You're kind of building. You have a clan that you control. The idea of this is about leaving a legacy. You know, in modern day, how sometimes they'll go into a cave and find cave paintings and things like that.
Yeah.
This kind of legacy of a clan that existed, you know, over 15,000 years ago now. That's kind of the victory point scoring. But what you're actually doing in the game is surviving these harsh winters. The Doggerland itself, I know British people launch to a particular. There's a particular
there's a particular activity that one might do.
One might think about, but Doggerland itself is actually it's not that.
Family
it's about
show.
Caveman, I swear. Yeah, family show. The Doggerland itself was actually a kind of stretch of land between I think it was between England and basically where the Channel is now,
really?
England and Europe, and it was a very kind of a land full of rich kind of fertile land that you could actually harvest berries and nuts and whatever, and woolly mammoths and all that kind of jazz.
Live off the land type place.
That's it. That's it. So it's almost a worker placement battle over this area.
Got it. Well, if it's rich in resources, then there's going to be a fight via the clans.
That's it. So
fantastic.
Very thematic and worker placement game.
And this is not out yet.
It's not out till I believe it's September time.
Fantastic. Very good. Kind of complexity, relatively heavy.
Pretty heavy. Yeah. This is one of our. This, as I say, we've got a fair few heavy games. This is one of the ones that
the one that's a bit heavier.
Is going to sit in that.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
And then we have what you told me to be excited about, which is Iki Akebono.
Yes, Iki Akebono. So, which awkwardly is not set up, but
that's okay. we can talk about it briefly.
Yeah. So Iki Akebono adds a harbour to the end of the Iki board.
So it has a whole other harbour.
There we go.
So yeah.
Now, Rob, tell us.
Yep.
Tell us. Iki's one of our favourite games.
Okay, which is great to hear.
What is the additional bits from the expansion that goes in already perfect game?
Iki is a great.
I think so. The Akebono is an interesting one because there is so much stuff in Iki, so much variability.
It's a huge game.
Iki Akebono is one that it definitely doesn't sit in that area of like, must buy expansion. You've got to get this day one kind of thing. I recommend it to people who've played a fair bit of Iki.
To add even more, just more variety.
Exactly, and it adds this harbour board to the end of the board, and it slots in really, really seamlessly.
Okay.
Gives you a new sort of location to visit with particular new
I see,
new workers that you can drive. Yeah, that's it. And
boats now.
And boats, exactly. So there is more stuff. It's one of those things where Iki can, as you say, it's like a perfect game. In many ways, it feels just so right.
It feels so
yeah. It's right. Everything is perfectly right where it should be.
Yeah, very right.
That's how it feels. I think Akebono slots in so neatly that it just brings it up almost a complexity notch without adding anything that is like, sometimes you get
all the mechanisms stay the same pretty much?
Pretty much, yeah. Okay. You're still walking around, you're still out visiting that harbour area.
Yeah.
So unlike, sometimes you get those sort of modular things, those modular expansions that feel a bit like...
adding rules for rules' sake as well.
Rules for rules' sake, and people end up playing with like one or two of the 5 modules in the box. With Akebono, really, it's a more stuff expansion.
Okay.
So... it's one of those ones where...
If you love Iki and you want more,
yeah,
this is the one.
It sits in that category.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I may well end up grabbing that anyway, because I do love Iki.
We know
Yeah.
you will.
It's going to happen.
We love the game.
Yeah.
We do love the game. Yeah, we do love the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's it. That's it. What I'll show you is what I think is going to be the dark horse of the show right here.
This is the dark horse of the show.
This is the dark horse of the show.
Okay.
This is going to be the surprise hit, if I have anything to say on the matter. So this is Slide. Slide is a game where you have a 4x4 grid here of tile. Have you ever played No Thanks?
Yeah,
Or like,
old game from the late 90s, early 2000s, I think.
Yeah. Or a more recent one is a very light family weight card game called Sky Joe.
I don't know that game.
So what's going on in this is, you've got this grid of 4x4. On a turn, all you're going to do is take one of your face down cards. All of them start face down, and you reveal it, and you put it into the center. And there's a draft then. So first player, who's got the slide marker there.
Yeah.
You can see these guys reveal their cards. First player is going to get first dibs on here.
Like a draft?
They're going to pick whichever card they want that's been displayed. The thing is, when they take one, they can't just put it back where they made the space. They have to slide all the other cards up.
That's the trick.
That's the trick. But what are you actually trying to do? So this is a game where at the end of it, the highest score loses. So you want the lowest score. You want the lowest possible score. Each number revealed are points, right? So having a 10 is pretty bad.
That sucks, yeah.
If you manage to get your cards to sit next to each other, though, if those 10 cards manage to sit next to each other at the end of the game, they're wiped. So this little, these ones here, and
so
those
like
threes
Tetris
there,
type, when you
are just going to get wiped from the... Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So
yeah,
that's
really nice. I can see that we're playing us a lot.
Yeah, that sounds super interesting.
This is it's a very sort of there's a cadence to this game when I play it that I love introducing it to new people, because the first like 4 turns they're like, who cares? I could take any card. I don't care. This seems pointless. Seems a bit random actually.
Yeah.
By halfway through they're like, oh, but
wait
maybe I need to get these 10s to sit together so I can wipe them at the end again. The last like 2-3 turns are agonizing.
Yeah.
Like, they are so like, if I slide this, the 9s are no longer going to be touching. If I slide this, the 10s are going to... It's like that Calico sort of pain. You know that end game of Calico where you're like...
Stress.
Oh,
that game is stressful.
Yeah. So you get that level of stress from it. It's that sort of thing.
Love it. I like to call it turn anxiety.
Turn anxiety, that's it. I like that. I like that a lot.
Best kind of turn anxiety. We're like, I don't know.
So that is Slide. Dark Horse of the show.
Dark Horse of the show. Watch out for Slide.
Watch
Heard
out
it from
for Slide.
Rob himself.
Trust me, it's going to be good.
Fantastic stuff.
So you guys know Quorridor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we've seen plenty of this.
So this is the new Pacman edition of Quorridor. Doesn't come in this size regularly.
This is giant Quorridor.
This is giant. We do actually have a competition running this weekend to win the XL edition.
Very nice.
We saw Rob yesterday carrying this stuff around. It looked pretty heavy.
I've got DOMs. I've got like post gym ache.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what this adds is you can play classic Quorridor.
Okay.
You can also play a Pacman mode. What I love about this game is there's a lot of like, I think for us bigger gamers, there's a lot of like 1v4 games out there.
Yeah.
But they're all quite heavy. Yeah. You know, they're all quite difficult to get to the table.
Yeah.
What this has is a 1v4 mode in a very family-friendly game.
Nice.
So, one player's controlling Pacman, one player's controlling the ghosts.
Trying to catch Pacman.
Exactly. And you can have up to 4 people controlling those ghosts. Pacman is going to try and gobble up the power pellets there.
Absolutely.
If Pacman manages to get them all, ding,
Pacman wins.
But Pacman only has 3 lives as
well. Yeah.
So if the ghosts catch Pacman 3 times, Pacman's bust. That's it. So very, very, it's a lovely 1v4 that you can play Pacman with 4 players controlling the ghosts. Have that tension that you'll have been used to from I don't know if you ever played like Fury of Dracula or something like that, where it's a team game versus one player, and you get all that that lovely kind of juicy chat when you're the sole player being like, you can listen to the others being like, we need to corner him there, take him out there.
And you're like, maybe I should move this way instead.
It's got all that lovely social vibe, and yet in a game, in a rule set that's you can get to the table with your family. Yeah, so
amazing stuff.
Great for that. Before we end, we've got to
say this.
Stomp the Blank.
What is this wild stuff?
You played Stomp the Blank?
I've not played Stomp the Blank. No.
Oh dear. I think I need to sit down. Wayne, this is.
I haven't played Stomp the Blank. Of course not.
Okay. Okay. Let me teach you guys Stomp the Blank, because I can teach this in about 60 seconds flat.
Okay, cool.
Stomp the Blank is a push your luck dexterity game.
All right.
In fact, should we do a live...
How do we do this?
Okay.
Sure, live teach.
A live teach. You're going to... Let's actually just start the game.
All right, let's start.
All you're going to do, take a card from this stack here.
Okay.
Place it there.
Place it somewhere here.
Place it on there. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So you have a choice now when you can either take another card or stop there. Now, if you take another card and it's not the money bag symbol, you can place it here. If you ever get 6 different symbols up to here, you win the game instantly.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, let's crack on.
Let's do another. That's good.
Okay.
So again, you could choose to take another card or you can stop there. At this point, if you stop here, I would have to take one of these crate tokens.
Okay.
And add it to the end.
It's one of these fellas,
plank. One of these fellas, and add it to the end of my plank. Here.
Ah, I see.
The further up the track you go, the more of these crates I have to add.
Let's go, Rob.
That's looking good. That's looking good.
It's looking good, Rob.
One thing I should tell you before you keep taking so many cards is if you ever pull the same symbol, however, your elephant's taken one step down the plank. Yeah.
All right.
And these are magnetized to the board.
I see. I see.
The first elephant to fall into the water loses.
Loses the game. Fabulous. Amazing stuff.
That's it.
Cool.
That's it.
Right,
let's Stomp the Blank. Let's see.
We're going.
It's still going.
Do I go? Do I go? Do I go?
Go for it.
Oh, it's the same.
That's it.
So I would have to walk the plank.
One step down the plank. That's
down the plank, and there I go. Fantastic.
That's
oh, fabulous stuff. And if I fall off the plank, I lose.
Yeah. This is a game we launched thinking it would be the child hit of the year. Turns out it's become the adult hit of the year, particularly in drinking game circles.
Oh, that's...
It is.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
This is the stupendously large XXL edition.
XXL edition.
Is this the actual box?
This is the actual box for the XXL.
For the XXL. The normal version is much smaller, I imagine.
Yeah, that's it.
Buy the XXL,
Rob, what an amazing tour of Hachette Games. Stands. There is so much amazing stuff.
Everything, but that's why you're just going to have to pop down.
You're going to have to come down and see the rest.
We've got a flag above,
UK Games,
which means
you can't miss it, mate. It's an amazing stuff. Rob, thank you so much, mate. Appreciate you.
It's been a pleasure.
If you liked this video, you know what to do. Hit the like button, check out the rest of the content, and absolutely hit the big red button and subscribe. And we'll catch you again real soon.